There's a reason it's called the world's greatest hobby. For hundreds of years, the fascinating, intricate, and joyful hobby of model railroading has been delighting hobbyists young and old. So, you've decided you'd like to step foot in this exciting hobby? Then welcome aboard! There's a lot you need to know, so let me throw you some of my tips and tricks I've learned throughout the years. Welcome to starting a model railroad. Welcome to starting a model railroad. Thank you for joining me today as I begin a brand new model train layout designed to help entry-level modelers begin their new hobby. A big concern with model railroading is the financial aspect. Many will tell you it is a very expensive hobby to get into, and you put a lot of money into it. This is both true and false. To be honest, any hobby you can sink a decent amount of money into, but my first tip for beginning model railroading is deciding what you want. Do you want a diesel engine or a steam locomotive? There are many model railroad companies that produce great-looking model trains ranging from modern diesels to steam locomotives, and even models designed for younger modelers, or the young at heart. Deciding which era and which power type you'd like to model is the first step, because you don't want to spend too much money on engines or freight cars that look really nice, but don't offer much to your layout. My next suggestion is focus on scale. There are many different model railroading scales available, the three most popular being G scale, O scale, and HO scale. For this video, we will be focusing on HO scale, as it has the best value for money and is just the right size to make a nice layout or be packed away without taking up too much space. Once you have decided your era and scale, I have one last tip to suggest: weather. This is the best part, deciding during what season of the year your railroad will exist in. Do you love the wintry snow, the beautiful autumn, or the grassy summers? Your model railroad can be whatever you would like it to be. The possibilities are limitless. With those three tips out of the way, let me show you everything you will need to buy to get your model railroad started. Now remember, I'm setting you up with the bare basics, the minimum you could say. A layout that looks visually interesting and is rather small. After learning my methods, perhaps you could expand your layout and add many more destinations and sceneries. But for now, allow me to show you how you can make an HO model railroad for just under $200. First, a starter set. A starter set is a great way to get the essentials: the track, power supply, freight cars, and locomotive are all included in one package. There are a multitude of different starter sets available from great model railroading companies, but today we will be taking a look at the Bachman Santa Fe Flyer HO starter set. Now first things first, if you buy this set you will receive a red and silver F-unit diesel engine. I did when I purchased mine, but I swapped the shell off with a different shell as I preferred this color scheme. Besides that, everything else in this box will be exactly the same as the box you order. I'd recommend this starter set as it is currently $89 on Amazon with free shipping. For the price you pay, you are receiving a smooth-running locomotive with everything else you'd need to begin. Let's unbox the set. After rummaging around in some cardboard, you will see where each piece of your layout is packaged nicely. This is the Bachman controller, or transformer. This is the device used to control your trains, their speed, and direction. This is the wall plug that connects to the transformer, and this red wire is what connects from the transformer to the track included to power the track. Included in the box is a full oval loop of Bachman's Easy Track system. Easy Track is designed to help entry-level modelers connect sturdy pieces of HO track without much hassle or fiddling. And then there is the locomotive and the freight cars. Your diesel locomotive will come included with a working headlight and a knuckle coupler. The freight cars will all have knuckle couplers as well to connect to each other. You get a hopper, a gondola, and a caboose. So far, our budget is at $89. The next things you will need to buy are grass mats. Grass mats are thick mats you can find at hobby stores that have the texture of grass on them. They come in many different sizes and colors. However, my store only carried smaller ones, but that's okay. For my layout, I'm going to need 2 to 3 of these, and retailing at $10 each, we are looking at just around $20. Once you have gotten your grass mats, find or build a nice sturdy table that your train set can be on. Once you have a table, lay down your grass mats in the ways in which they need to lay. This looks a little bare at the moment, but we are only just beginning. Now, grab your Bachman Easy Track and begin clipping your pieces together. Remember to slide your fingers across the track to make sure some rails aren't lifted above others. If done correctly, your track should be smooth and level. Now is the time to plug in your Bachman transformer to the track on the terminal section. Once done with that, plug it into a nearby socket. Begin placing your locomotive and cars onto the track with both hands so as to not break any details off. Roll them for a moment with your hands to make sure they aren't derailed. Slowly turn your transformer up and watch your locomotive glide down the tracks. With grass, track, and an engine, so far our budget is $109. Still under $200, but this isn't enough. Let's begin making the track look more realistic. What you need is some gravel and rock, but how will you find rock small enough for the scale? Easy! Kitty litter. The company Woodland Scenics makes great ballast for model railroads, but if you wish to stay on a smaller budget, buying a small container of kitty litter is ideal. Now, many modelers will say don't use kitty litter, but you absolutely can. I've been using it for 7 years, and I'm still running the same trains I bought then, today, with no problems. My suggestion if you use kitty litter is to clean your tracks often, however. What you will want to do is take the lid from the container and scoop up some kitty litter. Begin sprinkling it on the outside of the track on the edges. This will act as ballast and also holds your track in place. Now that our layout has ballast, let's begin sprinkling some more life into the grass. I would recommend buying a small container of Woodland Scenics turf. A small container goes quite a long way. This will begin to add some color and dimension to your grass and make it look more lush. Sprinkle it from the bottle only. Do not use your fingers or hands as it will crumble apart. Once you have added enough turf, spray it down with some Woodland Scenics spray adhesive or glue. For this part, I would recommend masking your track with masking tape so no glue gets stuck on the rails. With the glue, turf, and kitty litter, we have just spent $35, a combined price of $144. Our railroad is coming together, isn't it? But as we know, there's more to life than just trains, right? Right? Of course there is. There's buildings and people and trees. This is where the fun really begins. You get to decide what you want your railroad to look like. You could make it look very industrial, or you could make it look lush and scenic. I personally wanted to go for a lumberyard sort of look, nestled in the forest. To do that, I needed buildings and trees. Now for trees, I'd once again suggest the brand Woodland Scenics. Woodland Scenics products can be found at hobby shops or craft stores, and everything I have used so far, I have bought at the same place. You will need a good amount of trees, so I'd recommend picking up 2 packs of Woodland Scenics trees in whichever size you prefer. If you get 3 in a pack, you will have 6 trees if you buy 2 packs. 6 is a great number of trees for beginning a layout, but as you expand your layout, you may want to invest in some more. Luckily for myself, I have a few trees lying around, so I have more than 6. Next, you may also want some buildings. Now, while I love buying things new in box, I would absolutely recommend going to hobby shops or shopping on eBay for item lots containing more than one model building. HO scale is a great scale for financial stability. A lot of modelers sell buildings for rather cheap prices in lots on eBay, as opposed to buying new model buildings at stores. For example, the few buildings and houses I have here, I got in an eBay lot for $25, whereas at a store, one building new in box may cost you $25. I'd recommend you shop around first before you go with the first item you see. I'll use this building as a station, and this as a nearby house. This model really looks like something you would see at a lumberyard. And I'll even add a water tower in case I want some steam locomotives to operate on my layout in the future. And now for some trees. It is best to scatter your trees and not clump them all in one area. I personally like to glue these trees down with a tiny dab of super glue on the bottom for durability. Well, look at this. We've come a long way from a grass mat and a loop of track. Now this part is optional, but I'd recommend looking into buying more track and some switch tracks if you wish to expand your layout. I have a large bucket of track, so I'm going to add some pieces I'd like to, but it'll still operate as a loop. There we go. What I'm using is standard HO track. This track is the same as Easy Track without that black plastic surrounding it. More experienced modelers will use this track. And now, I think it's time for some optional finishing touches. I like to add foliage around the trees and tracks to make the railroad look more real, and buying a small pack of HO scale figurines can really make the set feel more alive. With the 2 packs of trees for $26, and some buildings bought in a lot for $25, with an inexpensive bag of foliage thrown in, we are looking at a completed beginner's model railroad for anywhere from $188 to $195. That is just under $200. And we have successfully done it. We have designed, built, and created a wonderful HO scale model railroad. It is hard to believe that what was once a wooden table has turned into a layout looking like this. Now, as I said before, this is the bare basics, and my methods aren't what you're going to see in a model railroading magazine. Remember, there is no right or wrong way to model railroad. It's all about fun and staying within your budget. Hopefully this video has helped many considering getting into the hobby, seeing as how it is not as expensive as one would think. Model railroading is what you make of it. Thank you for watching this video. I hope I have been of some help to any interested modeler, and as always, this has been Thomas DOTD, and I hope to see you all again very soon.